Okay.
So, globally, energy demand is increasing steadily. I think every year, last 47 years, last year. But in North America, we have so much natural gas. Where do you see the appetite for VC and Cleantech with the natural gas being the North American energy supply maybe we might have too much supply?
It's been awful.
It's hard.
I have a geothermal unit going in my new house, and the owners were trying to figure out integrated end-to-end solutions to try and keep their business alive. The value proposition about how long you get repaid for the additional capital costs, the natural gas prices are maybe as low as $1 a gigajoule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
And it's going to be oversupplied like that. I mean, the U.S. shale gas reserves are just, the estimates are going up every month. I mean, we're talking a decade of blood.
Yeah.
Unless you want to build a pipeline and start compressing it, send it to Asia. I mean, we've got to. It's not really a global commodity yet. That's the problem.
From a VC perspective, do you get a little less interested in Cleantech?
Yeah, certain parts. Certain parts, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris, we have time for one more brief question.
Sure.
Just a more general, because I know this is more Cleantech, but more for ACAMP micro nano space. It might not necessarily apply to all your portfolios, but I think for sure for, I know we have an AVAC anyway, maybe from Mike's earlier portfolios. How much investments are there in necessarily in the micro nano space? I know Cleantech is a bit general, but to make it more specific, it'd be interesting to know what percentage is actually focused in the micro nano right now and maybe past.
Yeah. We've got one nano resin, an investment in a nano resin manufacturing play. It's not a core technology company, but they're manufacturing resin for the sporting goods industry and so forth. I mean, that's increasing, it's growing. To be honest, it's kind of a flyer for us. I mean, everything we look at is so far out, it's so research based that it's really it's an ingredient, right? You have to say, what is the product company that you're going to build around that? At least from my perspective, I think, AVAC, you probably have more of an appetite for these earlier stage.
We do, but I echo the same comment that particularly in Alberta, the nano space is so early stage, it's still R&D for the most part. And so many of the opportunities we see are even too early for us.
They're too early for them, they're way too early for us.
Well, our last fund, 100% of our companies use nanotechnology in one way or another. And we don't think of them as nanotechnology companies. They just happen to be using some aspect of nanotechnology, in some way. And they would never pitch themselves as nanotechnology companies, but they are using that to solve problems kind of behind the scenes. It's working quite well.
Thank you.
Yeah, not to differentiate between micro and nano, but let's differentiate just for a second. So microsystems, sensors and actuators in the Cleantech area, there are opportunities. Those are not technologies that are at the forefront, like a nanotech could be out there in research in new materials, while microsystems like built at Microlon or other fabrication facilities are out there for real applications that can go to production today.
Absolutely. One comment I'd make is between nano and micro is that I see quite a few nano developments that don't have any value proposition better than the micro, just smaller. Not more accurate, not cheaper, not quicker. So that's a caveat there. But longer term, once there's this whole wave of micro and nano evolution that's happening right now in the new developments, I think we're going to see a lot of companies in the next few years start to get creative.
Okay.
A further comment on that, from what I've seen, the areas that there's going to be quick gain for Alberta is on the nano side is all in the sensor type area, and it's kind of hard to like if you're building an advanced material, you can sell an awful lot of it, right? Because you're building it into something new, golf clubs or whatever, right? But if you're building a sensor, you're still using nanotechnology, but you need a nano amount of that material to make your sensors. So it makes it a little bit difficult. You can still sell the technology, but it's a totally different kind of company than a bulk materials company. Yeah, and that happens much more quickly because those things are a few years to develop as opposed to the bigger nanotechnology.
Great. Okay. Thank you, everyone.